I wrote something, and I want to share it with you guys.
The Blaq Print.
The Blaq Print. This is the Blaq Print.
The Blaq Print is my story.
What really inspired you to write this book? What made you decide, hey, I want to share my story?
No one really knew this story until now.
You have done a magnificent job in telling a story and inspiring and encouraging our young women the way that you have.
This is where the foreword takes place.
Back when I was an innocent little girl with no worries.
I was thinking all this time, lying to myself that I'm healed from my trauma, and I wasn't.
I was with my grandfather Hubert all the time, and I just remember him having me in this area right here, having me work on cars with him, having us pile up in his truck and taking hay rides. I ain't know how many emotions this is going. This is, man, this, y'all gotta excuse me for a second, because this is like.
For Gina Tucker, this is her story.
I know it was heavy, but I know at the end, everyone, figured out why I am the way I am. I used to be the why me type of person, and then I started thinking like, well, why not me? God took me through certain things to get me ready for the things that I was gonna do later on.
There was a lot of things I didn't know that she went through, so to read it, it made me understand her more.
My mom a warrior, and I think that's what shaped her to be who she is.
We done got in shootouts together. You know what I'm saying? Where my sister was shooting, I'm shooting.
Picked up the book, didn't put it down until I finished.
But my mom also has this really loving side outside of that tough exterior that a lot of people don't get to see because she had to grow up a certain way.
And if you read the book, you'll see so many things that we went through.
Situation she was having trauma from, and I didn't even realize. Learning her story was completely unreal, but it was an opportunity for us to turn pain into art.
It's like telling our whole family story. She holds us all together.
I saw it. Like as I'm reading it, I'm literally watching TV as I'm reading it. Like I'm seeing it.
If you read it, you know, and you feel the energy that comes off those pages.
So the people that has read the book, first of all, I want to say thank you, and I want to say thank you to God. And then for the people that hasn't read it yet, just put your seatbelt on.
This is my hometown. It's called Youngstown, and it's in the state of Ohio near the Pennsylvania boundary.
Youngstown police are investigating a deadly shooting.
Breaking news in Youngstown with what police are calling a critical incident.
From the symbolism to the rivalries to the guilt, it's a complete introduction to what the audience is getting themselves into.
Red flags everywhere.
In the beginning, when I was the innocent little girl, it's like my favorite, because if I can go back and talk to her, I would say, you don't have to be that strong. You don't have to protect everyone.
This morning, Youngstown police officers are reviewing footage and doing interviews.
Back in the day, Youngstown was a lot of steel mills. There was a lot of jobs. The city had a lot of hope.
And I'm gonna always rep my city. I talk about a lot of the trauma that I went through, but I also want to let people know that Youngstown made me the person that I am.
Growing up in Youngstown was just tough, man. It was kind of easy to look up to a lot of the drug dealers. That's all you seen, so it was just like, you feel like you gonna rap, you gonna play ball, or you gonna get out here in these streets, you gonna have to figure it out, because it's just like what we were surrounded by.
For me in Youngstown, I've seen my first murder when I was 6 years old. My brothers, well, I caught him, my brother, my friend's mother got killed in front of us when I was 6. I got in the gang so young. And I didn't have a clue because I was still a baby. I was shot several times in Youngstown. I've been through a lot, and where I'm at now, I like to reflect sometimes, but sometimes I don't because of all I've been through. It was just a lot of pain.
Shooting and a crash in Youngstown yesterday that turned into a death investigation.
A lot of the kids that I grew up with in Youngstown, is, behind the walls, a lot dead.
Gang violence swarmed the city so fast, and before you knew it, everyone was like choosing a side, and not necessarily to be violent, but necessarily to belong to someone so you wouldn't get shot or killed or hurt in the, in the chaos.
Learning about the wars in Youngstown was like hearing a play-by-play of an action movie. Everything was like so unreal. I couldn't believe some of the things that she went through.
It was very, very difficult raising my kids, and mainly because most of the time my kids' fathers was in the middle of all the violence.
She was around, she was in it, in a lot of things, but she always made sure we was safe. She always made sure we was first.
I lost my father to gun violence and uncles, but to know she was like right in the middle, I didn't know that, so that was like, wow. And then to see her have to transition from that to being a mother.
I was a baby myself when I had Tredasia. That's my daughter.
She's really strong because she was young and she didn't have an example of how to raise a child with a disability because nobody around her do it. So to see her sort of create her own Blaq Print.
And when I had her, I was 6 months. She was 2 pounds, 14 ounces. You can hold her like in your hand. She was that small. And just going through that, you know, being in the NICU for a month and a half, not being able to touch her, she was in the incubators. She made me really have to grow up quick.
I see that we grew up together and I helped push her to a certain extent. I never realized that. Like I never realized I was the driving force behind my mother most of the time. So just to see her, like the struggle she went through with my father, her parent, and to still see her be loving and try towards me, I was really appreciative of that. Because she's not the type to let her trials and tribulations affect her everyday life. Like she'll still go out with a positive mindset, and that's something that rubbed off on me, like to this day. Like no matter what I'm going through, we're gonna go out a new day, be positive and get it done.
I just feel like she's my fighter. Like she made me like feel like I had something to live for. Like I wanted to change.
With the 16th pick in the 2015 NBA draft, the Boston Celtics select.
Damn, am I about to get drafted right now? Like this is crazy.
Terry Rozier from University of Louisville.
I changed my son's name in the beginning so he wouldn't even have, you know, traction to his father.
He grew up around the guns and everything, so he knew it, he saw it, but came out of it.
I just didn't want the things that my kids' fathers did to, you know, travel after them. He started in the backyard of my house, and then when everything happened and it broke my heart, he had to move up here. Terry was my baby that didn't cry, he chilled, he was just like my ride or die. I felt like he was like a gift, like God's gift, like he was different.
If anybody know my mom, they know she don't play about us three. She specifically let you know that in the book, she specifically let you know that in person.
He played in this gym and on that court ever since he was a little jit. This was his outlet to, you know, the pain and stuff he was going through. This is like very, very important to Terry, the Del Major. So February for All-Star Weekend, we collab with Puma. We made the court for Terry Rozier Court, Terry Rozier Foundation, because this is all his childhood memories. And I remember him like shooting on this very court.
You know, it's just that my mom's actually telling the story, so it make it even more dope. And you know, and my mom's seen a lot of stuff. Like I don't think a lot of it. I feel like I've seen a lot of stuff, but I know my mom like times 10.
I'm actually getting a little emotional seeing it again. So
just let her know our relationship. You know, since I was a little boy, how much we connected, how much, you know, she did so much, and you know, and obviously times was hard. It was never easy coming up, and you know, she made a way. Yeah. And if y'all there at the event right now and you haven't finished my mom's book, fake. But nah, though. Love you, mama.
The Gala, 3/10/2022. The Gala was a movie. First of all, it was Gina's birthday.
In Youngstown, where we're from, my hometown, we celebrated the book, we celebrated Gina.
Family came out, her friends came out.
That night I had to be at Oxford for my mom.
Everybody came in, everybody had on all black. The decor was amazing, the food was amazing. I just never seen her so happy.
And it came out beautiful, everybody showed up. and showed out, and they're Black, and
She danced all night. We just had a ball. Like, it was just a lot of fun.
Just me, you know, looking at the smiles on my mom and my grandmother's face, it was just priceless.
you could tell Gina was happy. You saw it on her face.
I call that a movie, the Blaq Print Gala. Man, it was so much love and support, and I'm just happy for her that she got to put me through something that big and come back to her city.
Hell yeah, we the shit, so we gotta pop it.
I had BJ in the midst of everything, the addiction, pills, after testing other drugs, you know. So when I had him, he was like my savior.
My mama, she a real strong role model in my life. I ain't have my father that much. He went to prison when I was 2. So I ain't had him much.
That's my mama, that's my baby, that's my twin. We really like been through everything together, so it's like, I feel like we the same person for her. I go to her about anything. Like,
He was Wonder Woman for me, man. Did everything. We was fucked up. Like, we was on the south side next time fucked up, but by the way she moved and who she was as a person, she kept the home happy.
God's Drum Roll is the true beginning of the story. It's the last chapter of the book. And it's where Gina finds that she has to begin her healing journey.
When I started my addiction with pills, the Percocets, that made me numb.
Some of the pain that she went through was things that a lot of people don't live to talk about.
I didn't think about the depths. I didn't think about the trauma. So it got really, really bad at one time. Like, I was taking 10 and 15 Ultrams a day with Percocets.
When I would ask questions about subtle details of things that she went through, I could see in her eyes that the pain still surfaced, you know, that her eyes would be filled with tears. You felt the energy of the moment that we were painting.
It's just like now I look back like, thank God. I'm at a place now, instead of telling myself and suppressing pain that I'm healed and I'm okay, that it's okay to be transparent and feel what you're feeling. And when I stopped taking pills, that's exactly what I had to do.
I'm feeding off of what I read, because to see where she came from, to see where she is now, and to see how successful, like, and all she had to go through to get it, I can do it too, and anybody can.
I think my mom in a great healing space. You know, I heard a lot of traumatic things that's not even in the book that she had to recover from and stuff like that. But she's still healing, and I'm just glad that I can be there to, you know, to try to look, Ma, I'm playing ball. You know, I'm trying to make my dream come true, trying to make you happy, and I'm just glad to, you know, be there and I can put a smile on her face.
Where they just explained everything in great detail. So it almost every smell, every situation, you can kind of picture it and envision it in your mind like it was just right there in front of you. She accomplished everything she said she was going to do. And I actually witnessed it, so it was pretty dope.
So that was our goal, you know, which was to evoke as much emotion as possible and truly shift our audience's mind and let them feel like they're walking alongside with Gina. Once you truly understand how to reflect, you can unlock parts of your mind and your heart that you didn't have access to before. That's where the true shift in the healing process begins.
She always found a way to move forward, and I think that's where I get my resilience from. Because knowing what she went through to get me here, and to possibly might have lost her life in that process, like, it just made me see how deep her love was for a human that she didn't even know.
I felt the pain. I went through stuff all over again. So I just feel like now I'm being real with myself. I took the power away from everyone. You can't tell me what I did. You can't say she used to do that, because I already let you know. I just feel like when people read this book, it's like they're gonna be there, and it's heavy. They gotta have an open mind, but I think it's healing and growing for people that is probably hiding some of those things that I went through, and letting them know, like, you can tell your story, because it's not over. Still breathing. A lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Some things I never talk about, but I saw a lot of shit. It was different, but you know, I remember in the morning how the chickens used to wake us up. Like, we would hear them, you know, in the morning. Like, I still remember that. And it's just different. But I know he's looking down and proud of me right now.